the use of alcohol often begins as a solution.
So that pause seems to be a terrifying thing. Silence and pause, real silence. John and I are married, so I just come into the living room and say, why did you da, 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 da? And that content of why I am awful to him, and I love being awful to you because you deserve. Well, I feel something here. It is squeezing my heart, or I can't breathe, or I have a cramp. So the body knows how we feel.
If you change your thoughts, you change your drink, you change your life. So, hi everyone, and welcome to Mind Over Glass, the Unconscious Moderation podcast. Here, we're going to explore what really drives our habits and how to create a lasting change from the inside out. I'm your host today, I'm Maria, and today's episode, I'm going to invite you to start from another perspective that might feel a little bit surprising and maybe a little bit even uncomfortable at first. But I want you to ask yourself, what if alcohol is not the issue, but a symptom of something deeper? What if the drinking urge of the glass or of the wine at the end of a long day isn't actually the problem, but it's like the brain attempt to give you relief, protection, or control? So today's episode is called Alcohol is Not the Problem, It's the Solution. In this episode, we're going to try to show you that drinking is not a good solution, but often it's like a logical one when you're feeling a lot of things. When the nervous system is overwhelmed and you've never learned like a different way to regulate your emotion or stress or even silence. So we're going to be joined by a powerful group of voices, Dr. John O'Brien, who is a psychoanalyst and a clinical hypnotherapist, and Nada O'Brien, who has decades of insight behavior and identity. And I'm Maria Paulina, a psychologist that specializes in cognitive behavior and mindfulness and third wave therapies. Together, we're going to explore the unconscious patterns that lead us to drink, not from a place of shame, but a place of understanding. And so we could help you to start this conversation. We're going to begin with a 5-minute hypnotherapy that's going to be led by Dr. John. So you can arrive to this space with curiosity, openness, and compassion. So I'm going to leave you now with the small hypnotherapy by Dr. John.
A warm welcome to the 5-minute hypnotherapy session from unconscious relaxation. If you're sitting comfortably in a place which is free from distractions and quiet, then we can begin. We will begin by taking a first deep breath. That's right. Allow that deep breath to come from your abdomen. And now take a deep breath again from the abdomen, eyes closed and relaxing. I wonder if you can imagine being in a bar or a restaurant where there are people drinking, where there are friends or strangers or a group that is expecting you to be there. Notice the noise. Notice that feeling of wanting to be part of the crowd, wanting to belong. It's very normal, it's very human. Perhaps you are approached by a friend or a stranger trying to welcome you. They could ask you, would you like a drink? Come in, have a drink. Come on, have a drink. And at this point, you might say to yourself, stop. S, stop. T, take a deep breath. Take that deep breath now from the abdomen. Notice how it helps you feel calm and relaxed and centered. Maybe take one more. O is for observe. Observe what is going on. Understand what is going on. People are trying to make you feel welcome. Maybe they're anxious. Just notice what's happening. Notice what's happening inside to your feelings as you get calm. And then P, you can proceed. And you can proceed with awareness. Say something like, oh, thank you, I feel welcome. I'm glad to be here. I'm doing just fine, thanks. Maybe I'll have some water later on, or do you have a juice or something? That's great, I would really like that. Oh yeah, but do you want a beer? You know, come on, we can give you a beer. We're all drinking beer here. Oh, no, thanks, I'm doing fine. I'm really good, thanks. And I feel welcome. So water would be great. If not, no worries. Relax. Who's your friend over here? I'd like to meet him. A number of ways that you can deal with that. So you might notice that you are still breathing and enjoy another deep breath and that feeling of your energy being recharged and your sense of empowerment feeling more powerful, feeling you can be yourself as you return. Notice the sound of my voice, and if you want, stretch a little and be here and fully aware and fully alert.
Okay, we hope that you've had a good time and that you could finish the complete hypnosis that we just did. I'm going to make like some quick questions for both Dr. Brian and Dr. Nada, so we could start like going a little bit to understand what we mean by saying alcohol is a solution. So when we say that alcohol is not the problem, but the solution, what do we really mean by that?
Well, many people feel that alcohol is a problem. And in fact, the use of alcohol often begins as a solution. It's just an old solution, but it's a very important solution because it has helped people often deal with unbearable feelings. And I don't have to list what all those feelings are, but the feelings are unbearable and people need to find a way of feeling better. Simply that. And alcohol was a short and temporary way of changing unbearable feelings to something different. It actually changed the biochemistry for a short while.
And it is also interesting, John, that we might have unbearable feelings, but not at all be aware that we have them. But we will still then, even more so, go after alcohol.
Well, I think that's right. Many people are becoming aware of their connection between thinking and decision-making. So to some extent, it's true to say that if you change your thoughts and you can change your decision-making, then you can change your behavior.
But where do thoughts come from?
That's a very good question. Now, thoughts are a little bit like the words that come up on a computer screen. They're the result of something else. When you type on a computer, you've put some energy into the computer and it's produced words. Thoughts are very similar, that they come from feelings, and feelings often control our thoughts without us realizing it. So, for example, when I wake up in the morning with a great song in the shower and I'm feeling very happy and it's sunny and I'm going to do something which is interesting, and my thoughts are very positive. And I might have slept very well. My digestion is working well. My whole body energy is working well. Sunshine makes me feel good. My thoughts are positive. However, on another day, I might be quite miserable. Something might have happened. The weather's not good. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe something upset me and I'm angry. I had some anger left over. Sometimes I could be quite depressed. Well, then my thoughts are going to be different. So my thoughts then will be negative.
So there is something in the unconscious which then is articulated in our thoughts, and we find ourselves with thoughts, not knowing that they have a deep origin.
Yeah. And the key then is awareness of the thoughts, and then awareness of the feelings. But we don't want to feel the feelings because they're bad. So the key then is to be aware of the thoughts and feelings that occur that take you through the whole process of making a decision.
So if I do not want to feel the feelings, and all about our lives and the world of our soul and inner world is about balance, and it's even regulated by laws of nature. If I get that drink, and especially if I get that eighth drink, then I am free to feel the feelings. And I might be a very negative person when I'm drunk, or I may be very jovial and amusing person when I'm drunk. But whatever I was defending from, even not being aware of, I might express when I'm under the influence of alcohol. On the other hand, I might be tired of feeling the feelings. And as many of my friends say, I just want to switch off. It's Friday night, I just want to switch off. And then I drink.
They're sick and tired.
Yeah, sick and tired, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if people wanted to feel like another thing, and that's why sometimes you feel that drinking is like an unconscious decision.
Yeah, it becomes a habit. The thing is, when it occurs, it's like saying, well, thank you. I remember that I found a way of feeling better when I needed to survive. And drinking helped me then.
But we are not in survival mode. Why would we be in a survival mode?
But now I come to realize that it's killing me, actually, and it makes me feel bad afterwards. So if I can find a way of changing my feelings,
or connecting to your feelings to start
afterwards, or even knowing that I've got feelings, then things can change.
And actually, only then, as Maria kindly noted, unconscious decision, well, it's an unconscious push because we don't have a choice if we are unconscious of what is making us drink in an immoderate way. So we don't have a choice. We can only have a choice if we ask a question, or we ponder, or we self-reflect, if we explore. What's that push, unconscious push towards that glass of alcohol?
Well, they call it an urge sometimes.
Urge, exactly,
like
or drive.
An urge. And really, it's fine to have urges. If we don't have urges, we're not human. Urges are wonderful. We have an urge. And the urge then has thoughts attached to it. But the main thing is that we have an urge. And trying to push back the urge is like trying to stop a strong river flowing. It creates the opposite effect. It makes the urge even stronger. So we welcome the urge and say, I'm having an urge. I'm human. This is wonderful. Now, what am I going to do with the urge? Oh, I'm going to surf on this urge. Or I'm going to let it pass. Or I'm going to recognize the urge for what it is and find something that makes me feel really good and really happy and really satisfies what I need at this moment.
So
I was feeling lonely, or I was feeling sad, or I was feeling hungry, or I was feeling grief, or I was feeling powerless. And that's what I need to be satisfied. But you can't do that if you let the urge have you. So it's okay to have urgings, but it's not okay for the urgings to have you. When you take a position of seeing and understanding what's going on for you inside, then things can change, and that's freedom.
So it's interesting that unconscious moderation is not only to moderate, but as we are exploring and going towards moderation, we are also discovering that self, that part of us that is unknown, and coming in contact with that part of us, with unknown self, and actually coming in contact with the origin of the urge, which we were satisfying by reaching for that glass of alcohol. But there is something beyond that, something much more fulfilling and sustainable. And it's actually, we are discovering ourselves.
Well, we are at depth, at its greatest depth. We are discovering that very peaceful center, which has a mystery to it. Okay, that peaceful center, peace, calm, transformation. Whenever we reach...
John, Nara,
sorry.
I wanted to ask you one small thing that I think that's really interesting, what you're saying right now. And I think that this question can help us go a little bit deeper on what you're saying. And it's, in your experience, how could someone begin to recognize these unconscious patterns that are driving the relationship with alcohol, especially when they feel that it's automatic? What people could do to achieve that peace that you're just talking about right now?
Well, as one of my clients said, well, first we need to pause to smell the roses. So in this world and way of being, there is no pause. We fill up our time with all sorts of isms. And we are in a hurry. We need to do this, we need to do that. And even when we are with ourselves in peace, we scroll on the mobile phone or some virtual existence and reality. Where are our own images? Where do we actually, when are we with ourselves? So that pause seems to be a terrifying thing. Silence and pause, real silence, real pause. So, and then I ask my clients, well, how do you feel? And they say, oh, well, I was thinking of this and that. And no, how do you feel? And there are umpteen numbers of these explanations. And it takes sometimes 10 sessions for them to say, I really feel angry. So how do you know that you feel angry? Well, I feel something here. It is squeezing my heart, or I can't breathe, or I have a cramp. So the body knows how we feel. And that's why looking at animals, it's so, in a way, educational, because they will just, shake whatever tension off and just restart or reset. So it's really an art for each of us in our own unique respective ways to learn our own techniques. How do we feel? Because we might have a push to do something. And that push might be we feel angry because somebody hurt us. And then we work. Push, move, do. But we don't know
Instead of feeling.
Exactly. So it's not easy at all to know how one is feeling. John and I are married, so I just come into the living room and say, why did you da? And that content of why I am awful to him, and I love being awful to you because you deserve, is because something hurt me before that. And I'm totally unaware. And it's actually, in actual reality, it's many more times he does it to me, but never mind. So it's really not easy to know how we are feeling and what actually is the core feeling that is moving us to do things. And we think we are in charge. According to some research, we are 95% unconscious of everything. And unconscious is ruling our reality check, our behavior. We act on behalf unconscious forces. But that our users will discover in journaling.
Okay, that's really good. John, would you add something right there? Before I have a question that Nara just kind of started to answer, but I wanted to know if John would add something to this one.
So I have a good friend who is a rock climber, and he has a particular way of making sure that he's aware at important points in the climb. First of all, he plans for that. He knows that there are some situations where he needs to be aware. Then, when those situations occur, when perhaps he's mid-climb and he feels tired or he feels alone or he feels frustrated, angry because he didn't do something correctly and he can't quite reach the next hold, then his concentration goes, his awareness shifts from what is really happening there. And he has to stop. So he says to himself, stop. And he has this written down. S for stop. O for observe. Observe what is going on for him inside at that moment. His thoughts, his feelings, his body, the outside world. Observe all this. Take a breath. So just as we did in the hypnosis session, he will stop and take a breath. And he might take 2. And 2 deep breaths. We call that the psychological sigh. And it gives someone a chance to recenter themselves. The next is O, observe. And I've already done that. And the last one is P, proceed. And he proceeds after he's made a good decision based on everything he knows about the science of climbing to keep himself alive and to get to the summit and to enjoy that incredible dopamine rush and peak of exhilaration when his body is working in tune with his mind.
And if I may add that this pause to smell the roses or this stop is actually our foundation for the Unconscious app to provide and facilitate that magical silence, magical stop, where we discover and look inside at all these forces and take a dive into the unconscious to find ourselves and find much better solution and allow solution to find us for drinking in an immoderate way.
And that was just a question that I wanted to ask you both. What do you feel, or how do you feel that app, Unconscious Moderation app, help us or help our users find like a new way to solve solutions, a new way to feel better, like how the app guides us toward new feelings that it's going to make you at the end feel better and leave these unconscious solutions?
Well, first of all, it's being in contact with oneself on daily basis for 3 months. So this is a dedication and a commitment to oneself. And it's short, up to 1 hour. One can do longer. There are so many interesting things prepared for the users. And there is a magic partnership, I would say, between daily hypnotic sessions that are designed by John in a very, very special way. There is something which will be a surprise to the users. We call it Jungian journaling. And that is a platform where we take a very deep dive into the unconscious in a safe way, full of surprises. There will be a movement because our body knows everything, and we need to involve our body where, in a very personal way, we will be informed about what is going on with us and where does these forces actually want to go to a natural fulfillment, not using of any substance or isms. And for the users who are curious to learn, it will be a science page or many, many other resources which they can use. So it will be really a holistic approach and engagement for 3 months. So that pause will be 3 months. And I'm reminded of the very end of Shakespeare's Hamlet, who says a very mysterious thing: the rest is silence. Now, interpreters nowadays of Shakespeare's work say it's a music rest. So that rest, that pause, is a piece of music, is a part of the music flow.
Before we wrap and finish our podcast, I love that each one of us shares a final thought about what's the most valuable insight you'd like to pass from today's episode. From my side, I think that the most important insight would be start to connect with your body and your emotions. Because with what you both shared today, I think that that's like one of the most important keys that you have in everything that app promotes and has. So I think that connecting with your body and your emotions could be like a really good insight to take from today. But I want each one of you to give me one insight you want that our users have from this episode.
You first.
I've enjoyed meeting you all, and it occurs to me that it occurs to me so this is our app, right? App. So I'm pausing to think and reflect. So pausing to think and reflect and to be aware of one's feelings allows the locus of control, the place from which your control comes, to be inside you. And if you can imagine being in a group, being pressurized to drink when you've decided not to, and you just automatically give in to that, then the locus of control is outside and you're not free. But when you can say, thank you, but I'm doing fine. No, just have another one. It's okay. Come on, join in. You're one of us. Yeah, I am one of you, and I'm doing real fine, thank you. When you do that, then you're using your thoughts and your speech to give room to be aware of your feelings, to be grounded, to be who you are. And that's freedom, my friend.
And I would like to invite the people in the audience to dare to take an adventure and give us 3 months. Give yourself 3 months to pause, to stop, and dive into this adventure and discover your own life story.
Okay, that's perfect. So we want to thank you all so much for listening Thank you for being here. And if something clicked with you today, we invite you to download the app and try it for free for 7 days. Remember, it's not to fix yourself, but to reconnect with the part of you that's already fine, that's already just fine. And remember, if you change your thoughts, you change your drink, you change your life. See you next time on Mind Over Glass.